Okay. Hey, everybody, you are watching and listening to the We Are Rising podcast. This is your host, Andrew Benjamin. I'm joined by a special guest today, all the way from Boberkura, Daniel Dizubeki. How you doing, Daniel? Jekchimeki.
Hello, hello. I'm fine. I'm very busy, but for sure I could find some time to make a preview to the upcoming Rising show. It's the last show before the peak of the year, the New Year's Eve.
Yes, it's a loaded. I don't say that necessarily in the most positive way. Loaded card, but it's a free card nonetheless, which you can get on right here, RIZIN.TV. Do you have to make an account to watch it, or can just anybody watch it, Daniel, if you happen to know?
You have to make an account, but it takes you about a minute because you can log in by your Google account. So
Oh, great.
easiest thing to watch.
I really want RIZIN to have access to that stuff, you know.
Yeah, yeah, that's great. That's great thing about it.
Mhm.
All that years you had a lot of different obstacles to watch Rising, at least at some time. And right now you can only making 2 clicks and you are logged in, and you can watch the show for free. At least this and the previous one.
Yes, yeah. So, hopefully it stays this easy. A lot of these good things don't last, but hopefully it does. Um,
You said about a loaded card, so I will bring some numbers because I love the statistic thing.
mhm.
It had to be the longest uh, event in Rising's history because it was supposed to have 18 fights, or because the current record is 17 fights. And I think there's a 3 events that had 17 fights, but none of them had 18.
Jesus, my God. Well, yeah, we lost the Koji Takeda Kolesnik fight, which I'm surprised they didn't decide to rebook.
Maybe they are thinking about New Year's Eve potentially.
That's possible. I get why Ninja and Souza wasn't rebooked because I don't think you could find somebody else to replace Souza. Souza got a hip injury. Well, depending on the extent of the hip injury, that could be for New Year's. Potentially, I hope it is because I think you would say that you're looking forward to that one, right? You really kind of
I
seems
think so, yeah.
yeah, me too. But so then the other one they decided to replace was the Inada Stefan
Oh,
Smash fight, and they're like,
yeah.
Tomorrow's
This
like,
fight,
no, we cannot let this go. We must have this heavyweight Grachan type fight, and they did.
I would
Uh,
say that this Inada fight is the only fight that I'm not interested from the opening part because okay, he had some foreign opponent from France, and then this guy couldn't fight, so they have replaced with some, I don't know, random from Japan.
a 40-year-old, 5'9" fighter who at one point fought Daryl Lokoku. So he basically ate his way out of his weight class. That's the only thing. Is that I don't know, maybe during the pandemic he just decided to eat so much, and yeah, now he's a heavyweight, 5'9" heavyweight. My God. Uh
Not the
scrape,
only case.
this is
Not
scraping
the.
that's
Mhm.
scraping bottom of the barrel.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just surprised they decided to keep that and not try to find at least a replacement for Kolesnik Takeda. Which I think Kolesnik, didn't he get like an infection or something? He got like some sort of like some weird infection. That's what I thought. That's what I
I
thought.
don't. I'm not sure about it. I haven't heard anything
Okay.
about
Well,
this.
before we actually get into the meat of the card, I'm trying to make this poster bigger because we always do our poster check because the posters are always cool. Kind of depending on your thoughts. Uh, Whatever. I'm just gonna keep it like this. Anyway, your thoughts on the poster, Daniel. I don't know. The cage aesthetic has me worried. I don't know.
I, I I I would say it is a very cool poster because it has a big moon, it has a cage, the clear accent, but in the background there's the main attraction of Nagoya City, the White Castle. So I think that's why it's great. It has everything. Of course, it promotes the fight because UFC fans usually complaining on the Japanese posters. Well, they don't promote the fights. UFC poster promotes the fights. No, motherfuckers. This poster promotes the fight as well.
I think the funniest comment I saw on Discord was like, it's very apropos that the cage, it's Vugar Karamov and there's a cage him behind the cage. I think I have to give Yabden. I think he's the one who said that. I was dying when he said that. I'm like, oh, maybe they're trying to say something here. I don't know, but yeah, I think that's supposed to be Nagoya Castle in the back. I've been to Nagoya Castle and that looks like Nagoya, unless like that's like some other castle. But I'm 99.9% sure that is Nagoya Castle, and I'm pretty sure that's the moon because with how long this car is gonna go, I wouldn't be surprised if this car goes late in Japan. So maybe it's a foreboding warning that be prepared. It's gonna be sometime when Jin and Toshizo start, and then when Karamov and Majima are here, it's gonna be 12 hours later.
I think the opposite, that this card can be very fast because of, the first thing, it I mean the main part, it begins 1 hour earlier than usual. It starts at 1 p.m. Usually after the pandemics. All the shows starts at 2 p.m. Before the pandemics, it used to start at 3 p.m. But by the way, yeah. And the other thing that I'm thinking about, there will be probably no official opening, and the third thing, that the new landmark shows we used to have a very fast pace. So
I was kind of like half joking, but Code Mayday says supposedly local time from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. That is freaking insane. If I hope everything is like run around knockout or submission.
They are opening the gates at 11 a.m. from what I know, but they are starting the prelims, the openings at 11:30. But the main part, so the official fight number one, so in this case Kitakata against Gachramatov, starts at after the 1 p.m.
Well, here's the thing. I know the Hiroya fans aren't coming until like 3 hours into the show, so they're not gonna. They will. Well, actually, oh no, since the first guy is a breaking down fighter, they might.
Yeah.
They might. That's sneaky of Bara to do that, but I don't. Expect that. You know how you watch Rise shows and the prelims, there's like nobody there. I think that's how. I think that's how the show's gonna start off, and then I think it'll eventually trickle that we'll start to see actual people in the in the
definitely
arena.
Even in Japan during the openings, aka prelims, there's no one at the venue. Only the most interested people, the relatives, the family, and stuff like this. But from the first official fight, there's more and more people. The capacities. The people are going to the arena. There's more and more people, and until I don't know, the second fight is almost full.
Gotcha. So on paper thoughts, what do you think overall about the card? Let me see if I could get this the actual card up. So what do you think about on paper? How it looks?
I wouldn't say it's it's a very bad card. It has some some good sides. I think it has a potential to be very fast-paced. I'm just not talking about that some fights won't have even VTRs and they will be very fast-paced. But I think that this card has a lot of potential to have a lot of finishes.
I hope you're
And
right.
and I'm glad because there's a lot of foreigners on this card, and more. I would like to say that they are very interesting foreign talents.
It's just so funny that the landmark show is kind of like their in between show, and I think they've booked more foreigners on this fight on this card than any other ones so far this year.
But it looks looks like Landmark a year ago, the one before
Yes.
the New Year's Eve. It's very similar.
I was hoping that they would be done with stuff in these cards because the last two shows were like 10 to 12 fights, kind of big but like fights that like made sense if you want to put it that way. So I was hoping that Landmark was going to follow suit. Turns out no, complete opposite. So I think this is how all the Landmark shows are going to be. You're going to have fights like that. Like this. Imagine each fight goes all rounds. No, I do not want to imagine that. I do not want that energy at all, Falling Star. Please, please, please do not ever say that again, my friend.
It won't happen. I'm
hope.
sure 100% that there will be more than half of the fights will be finished without the decision. I think
So
so.
yeah, yes. Let's start. Let's start from the bottom up of RIZIN Landmark 10 in Nagoya, available again on RIZIN TV for free this weekend. So if you're forced to do something, if you have one choice besides Jones and Miosic, this is probably the other one. I forgot that that Tapology isn't even up to date on this thing. So yeah, we got.
I do, they don't have a kickboxing prelim in 55
Yeah, I
kilo
can't believe
Toshizo
that.
against Jin.
Oh my god. Okay, I'm just gonna go. I'm just gonna take from Sakaki Bara's
Yeah,
thing.
this will be the best
Yeah,
solution
so we
to
got
have a clear.
Toshizo versus Jin, Breaking Down versus Rise, Tatsumi versus Sho Hiramatsu, Masashi Inada versus Katsuyoshi Sasaki, and Taito Kubota, Reina's brother, just kidding, no, taking on Junya Ebichu Hibino. So, Daniel, anything you want to say about these four fights?
The first thing that I find that kickboxing prelim is kind of interesting because Jin is a Rise regular. He fought with notable fighters like Ryujin Nasukawa, Tenshi Matsumoto, or Momo Tsukamoto. His last Rise win at the major show, at the World Series show, it's not a Korakuen show, with former K1 fighter Aoi Noda. It was very, I would say,
Bad.
weird fight because Jin got dick kicked 2 times, and in the third fight, the third round, his opponent made a trip. They went to the canvas when they went to the clinch, and his opponent couldn't continue. He got counted to the 10, and the fight was over. So it was very weird. It's on the YouTube. So if someone thinks how it could look like, I can recommend. There were 2 or 3 pauses because of the fouls. So yeah, crazy, kind of crazy fight. I'm not only interested in the heavyweight scrap because I don't know what's interesting in a low-key inside the Japanese clash in heavyweight. Before there was some French guy. I'm not sure if he is training in Europe or he's a Japanese resident. But he couldn't fight from because of something, and Inada is fighting with some other Japanese. I couldn't even find a fight footage of the replacement guy. So I don't have
There's
much
there's
to
one
say.
fight that you can find, and it's he's pretty bad, like bad, like.
But I can see that he is a local hero.
Oh wait, you talking about Inato? Or you talking about Katsuyoshi Sasaki?
The second one, not Inada.
Oh, okay. So yeah, Sasaki. Yeah. Not that Inada is like any gem, but like
Oh,
yeah,
Inada too. Inada too. He is from Aichi, so the
yes,
same prefecture. Yeah.
yeah.
Uh, um, the about the other prelim, the second one, Tatsumi against Sho Hiramatsu. Sho Hiramatsu recently fought with in deep with Yuki Motoya, and he almost knocked him out. If he would make some grounded knee or sucker kick, I don't think that Motoya would survive this. It was in second round or in the end of the first round. Hiramatsu has a very good physical conditions. This is
Was
a
that
bantam.
that was a fight that Fukuda was supposed to have, right? And I think Hiramatsu replaced him. Hiramatsu replaced him
Oh
in
yeah,
the last minute.
something like this. And Hiramatsu has 178 centimeters tall. So for as a bantamweight is very good. Uh, and that's why I think that he has a potential. I think that he got thrown under the bus fighting with Motoya, but maybe in future we will see him more often at the big stage. And he's fighting against Tatsumi. Tatsumi is a local hero. He fought in deep the whole career in deep, both at the main shows and the local shows. Fought, for example, in deep Nagoya in the ring. Usually we have a cage at the deep shows, and this will be the very first fight outside the deep of Tatsumi in the whole 12 years career. So yeah, that's why I'm interested about this prelim, and the most interesting prelim is Kubota against Hibino. It's a rematch for their last fight. They fought at the outdoor deep show, which turned out to be a little disaster.
I think you're underutilizing the word little in that, because basically, for those that don't know, Deep had decided to have a show outside, and listen. I don't know if people knows about Japan, but like here's Japan. It's either hot, cold, or raining. And so that day happened to be raining, and not just like a little drizzle, like it poured. And so deep. Oh, the other thing was that you couldn't bring umbrellas because they didn't want people getting their views blocked. And as the show progresses, you could see some of the fights on Deep's YouTube channel, I think, for free. They actually, you could see the main event between Kaito and Taisi Nishitani. So as the fights go on, the fighters they can't even stand. They can't even move in the ring. They're slipping when they're throwing punches. When they try to to block takedowns, they're falling down and getting taken down, not due to their bad takedown defense, but because they can't hold themselves, because the canvas is like a giant, like soaking. It's just absorbing all that water, and just it was embarrassing. And this was one of the fights. And what happened? Third time getting twisted. I won't hold it entirely against him, but if this happens again in this fight, then clearly he has some deficiency in his game when it comes to twisters for whatever reason.
Yeah, and the one very interesting statistics. Hibino's last two losses were by a twister.
Yes. And again, I would say that last one against Tatsumi was a little bit of a, whatever. But if it happens again, then man, you know what? Drop everything and then start
Practicing the
yes,
twister defense.
yes, please do. So do you have any picks for any four of these fights, Daniel?
I think I have. Jin. I would say Hiramatsu. I would say Inada. Inada, who started who isn't a natural heavyweight. He could drop definitely to the light heavyweight, but definitely Inada against Sasaki, who is a very light replacement. And in Kubota Hibina, I would say, I think that Hibina will avenge his loss.
Okay. There's no way that Toshizo wins at all. If like you could find some of his breaking down stuff on YouTube. He's terrible. Like I'm like
Yeah.
he's what is it? He's literally it's like not even like it's not like metaphorically or like he's just bad. Yeah, Jin's is gonna plow through him.
Yeah, that's why he is on the card, because he is a breaking down veteran.
Yeah. And he's selling tickets, no doubt. He's got a huge social media following that I couldn't believe when I actually saw like how many people follow him. It's embarrassing. Makes me regret what I'm doing with my life. Anyway, Tatsumi's actually really good. I don't know. Sho Hiramatsu, I've kind of have, I thought like, oh, maybe he's a good not breaking down, black belt prospect. But I think he's got a lot of holes in his game that I don't know. He's just not. I think Tatsumi is just a much more well-rounded fighter. I think.
Both fighters are kind of similar in terms of the style. They have a different physical conditions, but of course, Tatsumi is much more experienced fighter.
Yeah. So Inada, Sasaki, if this goes beyond the first round, then I don't care if that's 2 rounds. That's a bad thing. That is a bad omen for the rest of the card.
If this will go to the decision, I think this will be one of the worst fights in the RIZIN's history.
Oh yes, and like Inada should not lose this fight. If he does, then like whatever. And then Taito Kubota, Ebichu. Listen, I've been trying to get behind a Hibino, but if he loses this one, I think I'm done on the Hibino train. But I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt. I think he'll avenge this loss. I swear to God, though, if he gets twisted, you know what? I'm done. I'm done with Mr. Ebichu.
Definitely, yeah.
So now we're gonna go on to the main portion of the card, the part that actually matters. And first off, we got a flyweight bout. Daichi Kirikata take on Alibek Gazhamadov from, where do you think? Dagestan, of course.
From Dagestan, yes. He even uses the Dagestani flag. So this is an interesting thing.
I also recommend, did you saw the interview that he did on RIZIN TV, right?
Yeah. I have watched all the 3 RIZIN TV Shingo's interviews.
He did say that he's training at what you would call it, at Khabib's camp, right?
Yeah, Abdulmanap school.
Oh, I must have forgot to put this fight on there on the thing, but I'll do it quickly. But yes, so we got Kirikata, former strawweight fighter, trying to do flyweight. I say trying because
another one, yeah.
Yeah.
Kitakata Arai, we are talking on the Discord from time to time that RIZIN should try to establish the male strawweight division, because there are some guys who deserves to fight in their respective weight class, and Kitakata is another one. Alibek Gachhamatov.
Did you see all 4 of his fights, by the way? They're all on YouTube. You can find all 4 of them on ACA or ACA's YouTube channel.
Yeah. I saw the.
He didn't look good in his first fight, though. He was getting his ass kicked until the guy just started getting tired. I was like surprised, but then like in the other fights after that, he looked like so much better.
Yeah, definitely. But Gachhamatov will be the 7 centimeters taller. He is mainly a stand-up fighter, but he can make some takedown and. The thing that will promote the Dagestani fighter is the fact that the event is in the cage.
Oh yeah. Listen, I know it's kind of like a joke, like, oh, if you see someone whose last name is Ov, don't pick against them. But like, no, this is not even like a case of like that. I don't care that Kirikata has much more fight experience. I think Ov Gazamatov is going to run right through Kitakata.
Yeah,
I
I think so. There will be a big difference in the physical conditions because flyweight will fight in with the strawweight in the flyweight limit. Uh, Kitakata is trying to be really aggressive. He's doing kind of well in terms of stand up, but I'm not sure if it will be enough for the foreigner.
do you think there's any chance for Kitakata to win this at all? And you can say
Uh,
no because I'm gonna say no.
I think so because Gashkamatov isn't even a wrestler. I mean, the background. If he
Wushu
would be,
Sanda, right? Isn't
yeah,
he like
yeah,
yeah?
yeah. So the Chinese kickboxing, so kickboxing with sweeps and throws. It's like a bit Muay Thai, a bit shoot boxing, stuff like this, but without the submissions.
So yeah, and well, in his first fight, he got taken down quite a few times. Even got his back taken, but in the fights after that one, Gazamatov looked like a beast. Now I think Gazamatov. I think he's going to finish him by round two. Kitakata. What do you think?
Yeah, I think it will be the TKO by punches.
Um. Oh, actually, you know what? I'll go with that. Yeah, I'm gonna go with punches because also Kitakata is getting old, man. He's been through some. He's been through some. I wouldn't say wars, but he's been through a lot. He's old in fight years, I guess you could say. So, and you just look at that decision guy versus a guy who's finished all his fights. Yeah. So, got go
In
ahead.
some fights he was doing well, but yeah, as we could say, even with Sawamoto in his rising debut, he was doing well in stand up, but. I think that Sawamoto in that I saw that fight.
Yeah.
I have rewatched this fight, and Sawamoto capitalized on his takedowns in
Mhm.
this fight, but it was very competitive in terms of punches and kicks.
Mhm. So next fight will be Alan Hiro I was about to say Yamaniha versus Seigo
Yamaniha.
Yamamoto. And I put down, didn't he retire? He did retire. I'm not crazy, but then he returned and he's now on a 3-fight winning streak in Black Combat. And like, I don't know what what timeline I missed with him returning, but yeah, I don't want to say this fight should not be on here because I'm not looking forward to this fight, but I understand why they put Hero on it because Nagoya boy. Anyway,
Mm, yes, and Yamaniha is going back from his KO loss against Kiyoma Akimoto.
yeah, that must be
Uh,
awkward though. That they're both in the same locker room or the same arena. That's got to be a little bit awkward.
so that's what I think. So that's why they gave Yamaniha the very contrasting styled fire. Yamamoto uh, has some potential to just start very well,
Oh,
but
interesting. I didn't know Seigo that Yamamoto. Sorry to interrupt. He's from Aichi as well. I don't know if he's from Nagoya, but it says here Aichi. Interesting.
he's from Korea. Yeah, but because he is Zainichi, he has a Korean Japanese, and
Hmm.
he has like Yoshihiro Akiyama, and his Korean name is Sung O Kim.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of interesting thing about Seigo Yamamoto, who also fought a lot in Korea, in South Korea, of course. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, after his rise and debut, 6-fight losing streak, and then went on a 3-fight winning streak. And I mean, okay, I don't know, you know, good, I guess, but what do you think? Do you think that he has a chance? I don't know. I don't. Can he finish Yamaniha? I don't know. Yamaniha is a hard guy to really finish, and Akimoto, I don't know. I don't know if like he can be finished now because he's been through wars. Uh, I don't know.
Mm, it's if this fight will end up I will tell it different in a different way.
Mm,
If Seigo Yamamoto can win this fight, it will be only by a KO, but this will be very hard task to do, but I think that they have saw the last Alan's loss, and they will try to do the same what Kyoma Akimoto did. But I don't think that Yamamoto has a potential and abilities to do what Kyoma did when it was in May.
Code Mayday, I don't know if I agree with that because you say Seigo Yamamoto may be the guy the least likely to win in this card. I don't have go back and look at Katsuyoshi Sasaki. That may be the most unlikely. I'll even give Toshizo maybe like a puncher's chance. But look at Katsuyoshi Sasaki in the Anata fight. That may be the most unlikely guy to win on this card.
But I have to be fair about Seigo Yamamoto. The black combat fights are hard to go catch, to hard to watch.
No, they upload them on the Deep channel, if you remember.
On the Deep channel, have you seen the last 3 fights of Yamamoto before our recording?
I'll have to check my. I definitely know I watched his. I definitely know I watched his last one. Or at least his last 2. I believe. I saw the first Black Combat show. Okay. I saw the one where he won. I think that was the same one that what's his name? Jury got his leg ripped off. I think that he was on that one. I'm trying to remember the other one. Was the other one the one that Rocky was on? I think that he was also on that one. You say go. And then I'm trying to think. But I definitely have seen him on the Black Combat stuff. I mean, he looks good. His level of his opponents aren't like, 0-1, 3-1.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know, 3-1,
6-1-1,
and 6-1-1. Okay, whatever. I don't know. Maybe we're underestimating him. Maybe we are actually underestimating him.
But definitely, diplomatically say he isn't the favorite of this fight.
No, he's not. I'm gonna still pick Yamaniha. I think
Yamaniha.
You think, but Yamaniha never really. You think he'll go all 3 rounds? I don't think. I think he'll go all 3 rounds because he doesn't really finish people, and he doesn't.
I'm
really
afraid that it will go to the decision.
I'm afraid
because Yamaniha is this kind of fighter who doesn't have a lot of submissions, despite the fact that he is a submission specialist because he is training in bonsai jiu-jitsu with Kleber, with Satoshi and his brother. So it is what it is.
It might be the most ironic thing that he does. That like he never finishes guy by submission. That's hilarious. So this next one, first time making his bantamweight for a fight, as far as I know, Dark Shirakawa take on another Caucasian guy, Magaram Gazanzadeh. You're better at pronouncing this. Gazanzadeh. Gazanzadeh, yes.
Yeah, Magaram Gazanzadeh.
I was only to see a little bit of by the way, also his record is weird because Tapology gives it as 9-1, but like you see here, it says undefeated. So I don't know who to believe. What would you say? I'm gonna go with 9-1. I'm gonna trust Tapology in that.
I'm trusting Tapology as well, but I would like to say this is a very
actually, King C. Sorry, Komei Day. Dark Shirakawa might be the guy who's least likely to win. Now I think about it. Sorry, go ahead, Daniel.
I didn't pay attention for this, but he has his. I mean, is Dark has his bantamweight debut?
Yeah, as far as I know, he's never fought at bantamweight before. He's only fought at featherweight and lightweight.
I will tell you this. This card is like has its issues in terms of matchmaking, but this matchmaking from this card is very promoting the foreign fighters.
Yes.
I will talk about this more later because we will break down other fights. But in this kind of matchup is, Dark's takedown defense kind of sucks because he lost because of wrestling with Yachi. He lost by a wrestling against Nakahara. When his opponent wants to fight him to exchange punches and kicks, that's okay. He's really good in this part of fighting. But when his opponent has good wrestling skills and he is aggressive like Gasanzade, because Gasanzade is an explosive fighter, has a very strong ground and pound, he's dangerous in a clinch, but he also can exchange the punches. So I think that Gasanzade won't go to the ground immediately. He will try to just exchange a couple of shots, and this is the only moment when Dark can make this fight in favor of him, because when Gasanzade will go to the clinch and then most probably will take him down, it's over Dark Bros.
I also realized that I should have remembered this from yesterday when I was researching. So it said Magaram is that Team Alpha Male?
Maybe he is doing the camp in the USA.
Remember, didn't Tofik do a camp at also there as well? Like a few years ago? I seem to remember that. Didn't he? Yeah, didn't all three of those Azerbaijani guys do like some camp? I think it was it for the was it for that lightweight tournament or maybe? I don't know why.
I don't remember.
I feel like I remember. That's for some reason in my brain. Anyway, yeah. So I mean, okay. I don't give Shirakawa any chance. This is not good. Like I think even when you give that scenario that that's how Dark can win, I don't see that happening. I see Magaram entirely dictating this fight, no matter where it goes. And I think, let's see. I'm gonna say a first round knockout by Mr. Magaram.
Yeah, TKO on the ground.
First round, second round. What do you think?
First round.
Yeah, it would almost be like an insult if he didn't get a first round knockout, considering his level. One of the more interesting flyweight / foreigner fights we have: Yutaro Muramoto taking on the debuting Tony Laramie, brother of he's a former UFC
fighter, TJ.
Okay. When they first announced it, I thought they were talking about him. That's gotta be confusing though. TJ and Tony, I don't doubt that like they must have been like they must have gotten emails or contacted by people who thought they were booking the other. I guarantee that's happened at least once. Anyway, did you see the interview that Tony Laramie did on that TV?
I will ask you one thing, because you are doing a lot of interviews with different fighters, and I would like to ask if you would ask the same questions as Shingo did in this interview, because I was kind of shocked.
I would maybe not prod and poke, but like there's a way to ask questions and kind of get like there's a way to kind of do those questions. I know, like asking about his father, what he was in jail for, like, I guess implying that, I don't know, there seems to be a lot of drug related stuff,
gang related stuff, also from what I remember.
I'll tell you the truth. I don't take any Canadian gangs seriously. It's just the ridiculous notion of hearing them try to act tough with that accent.
The only Canadian gangsters that I saw were in the Trailer Park Boys.
Yeah, so definitely. I think he's also from a. I guess he would be the equivalent of like a redneck kind of.
He looks like a bit with this haircut.
With the haircut as well. Yeah, with the mullet.
I haven't heard about the Canadian rednecks.
I'm near Manitoba, and there's a lot of people that are considered redneck there because it's like rural and people have guns there and all that stuff.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know if is he from Windsor? I know he's from Ontario, but was it Windsor? Windsor's a big city. I don't think that's considered redneck for a city.
From Windsor, yeah.
Yeah, that's not a redneck area. He may have grown up in the more shitty part of Windsor, perhaps, which is entirely possible. It is Canada after all, where there's shitty parts and the cities and then nice parts. Like look up Toronto, but yeah. Oh, I highly recommend everybody check out the interview on RIZIN.TV with Tony Laramie. I don't think you have to be a member to even watch it. You can watch it without a membership if I correct. But it's really good, really, 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 really good. And it's yeah, I would ask those questions. I would ask those questions to a point. And if he seemed to be bothered by them, then I would kind of like
No,
yeah,
totally not.
yeah. But again, I think he realized that it is an important part of where he is right now.
Of course, yeah.
In a positive way, And it sounds like that he is that he did take all the bad stuff that he grew up around with his. I think he said both his parents went to jail, his mom and his dad, and that was it. There was kidnapping. That's what I remember. He said something about kidnapping. That I would want to know more about because I'm like, did he kidnap you? Did he kidnap your other brothers? By the way, he also mentioned that one of his brothers is also dead. So he's a brother among two, but only one is living now. There might be other. I think didn't he say he had a sister as well?
Yes, I think he said that his sister was or is drug addict.
Yes, that was it. Yeah. So again, I don't want to spoil too much about it, but it's a really great interview. Like dark stuff. Trigger warning if you need that shit. Oh yeah, he's taking on Yutaro Muramoto, who's absolutely going to get demolished. So I don't know what else to say.
Yutaro Muramoto is a guy who can describe by one basic word: gatekeeper. Because if you will beat him, you can go on a higher level, guys. And Muramoto is like a guy who is very aggressive stand-up fighter. He's going inside very quickly. He's trying to capitalize on the fast hands, and Laramie is also mainly a striker. From what I remember from this interview, he also begun from the boxing and kickboxing. He has very fast hands. He's changing the levels. He's also throwing the body punches as well. He has great footwork, jumps a lot, very fast. So I think this fight can be very short, but I think it has a potential to have the fireworks.
Yeah, I watched. Sorry, go ahead.
Muramoto is that also weird kind of fire that he is dancing in the cage with his opponent. Is nothing, and there's suddenly bang, one or two strong punches. It's like like with his fighting with Seigo Yamamoto. There was nothing, and there's a counter punch for the flying knee. It was the same with Yuto Uda, but in this case, he got knocked out by a soccer kick. So it is what it is. I think that Laramie will force him to, expose a bit earlier than.
I'm gonna take back what I said. I did watch a bunch of Laramie's fights. He does have one weakness. It's his grappling. He doesn't really have. I mean, he has no submission on his record, and I watch his the fight that he won I think it was the BTC championship, and he can be taken down. He can be taken down if you fight hard enough for it. But I don't know if Muramoto is going to have that ability to do that. I'll give Muramoto credit, though. I think he's the best. He might be the best out of these fighters who transitioned to flyweight from strawweight. So I'll give him the best. I think he has the best chance to defeat his opponent to beat Laramie, and it probably would just have to be kind of like hold him up against the cage, try to get him down, and kind of just almost hold him down. I think that's the only way he can really win. He does not win the fight at all. I think Laramie is going to light him up, like you said. And he also switches his stance. He does this really unique thing where he kind of looks like he's backing up, but he's actually switching his stance. A lot of people tend to be stationary when they switch stances, but he backs up. It looks like he's backing up. So then you'll come forward, and then as soon as he switches, he'll throw the other hand. It's a very interesting technique that Laramie does.
Definitely, I'm really looking forward for this fight because Muramoto is an underdog, but he has some chances to make an upset because he would make an upset, I think.
Do you think that he? So you're picking Laramie, though?
Yeah, I'm picking Laramie by a KO. I hope this will be a very fun fight, a very effective fight with some flashy stuff. But I hope so.
Oh, I'm picking Laramie as well. To win, probably I'm gonna say by TKO in the second.
I will ask you. Do you
Yes.
think that TJ Laramie can join RIZIN as well in the future?
Is he featherweight?
Yeah.
Okay. All I remember is that he had the fight with Miko Pereira, like on a day's notice, and like still beat Miko Pereira. Yeah. That again, that's who I thought that they were signing. I thought they signed him. I saw Tony Laramie. I was like, oh, they got the former UFC guy. They're gonna put him in featherweight.
Yeah.
And I didn't even know he had a brother until this fight. Until I actually like saw like, oh, that's not him. So yeah, absolutely. TJ can definitely get into RIZIN. We definitely need more featherweight blood in there because we're starting to run low on people. We can't have we don't know what the status of the Pippo brothers, if they'll ever come back. We got Kleber versus Chihiro happening, so we need some new blood in there, I think. And I'm surprised they didn't book the two of them. Sorry, go ahead.
I will answer on the question from the chat. During the Sunday's show, they will announce at least 2 New Year's Eve fights.
I think so too, which is why I gotta get my article on 10 fights RIZIN should book before the show comes out. So I gotta work on that tonight. I'm looking at TJ Laramie, and yeah, he hasn't fought since last year. Oh yeah, I think he had some surgery he had to do. That's why he hasn't fought since
the
last
shoulder.
year. That was
torn his biceps.
So that's why maybe they couldn't get him. Maybe they were gonna try to book both of them, but then yeah, they're like, okay, we can at least get the younger, healthier one. So speaking of probably the second luckiest man in RIZIN MMA next to Dark Shirakawa, Hiroya taking on Yuya Monkey Shibata. Man, I wish I had a friend like Mikuru. Mikuru is like the Adam Sandler of RIZIN. He's able to get his friends in fights no matter what happens. I wish I had a friend.
Of course, but do you regret that Hiroya is in RIZIN? I don't. I don't regret. And
no, not at all. But like, look, come on, like, you got knocked out by Tokoro. I'm sorry, like, you need some time to retool, and then, yeah.
I will tell you this: not every fighter in the roster has to, fight for the titles in the title eliminators. This kind of competitors are needed as well. Not, as I said before, not just to be a title challenger, to just bring a lot of fun. And Hiroya is one of them, despite his record.
Yeah, no, but I eventually, like, he should have taken a little bit more time off because now he's facing a guy who, like Tokoro, not known for striking. He has he has 2. I don't know what they are, but he has 10 submissions. So, listen, I know they are desperate for Hiroya to get a win. I know he's popular, all that stuff. But man, listen, Shibata, he beat Ersan, surprisingly. I didn't think he was going to beat Ersan. I think the same is going to happen here. I think he's going to submit Hiroya. That's what I honestly think happened.
Especially that Monkey Shibata can be very unorthodox because I don't know if you remember the finish of the fight against Ersan. It was the rolling.
Yes.
It was near the fence because it was in the cage. He rolled from the stand-up position to the leg, and then he pulled out the knee bar. So it
Yeah.
was a great technical action by Monkey Shibata. He can make a lot of scrambles. He's dangerous from his back, as a very good as every good ground fighter is. But from the other hand, Hiroya is also very unpredictable. He is very aggressive, and he always brings the entertainment to the cage. And Monkey is a different fighter than Tokoro, because Tokoro can, make some flashy stuff in a stand-up position, not only on the ground. I think that Monkey is more ground concentrated, more ground focused.
We say that now, and then he's gonna knock out Hiroya. That's what's gonna happen probably. You know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna say. Let me pick that. Let me say that he knocks out Hiroya round 2, like out of nowhere.
Do you think that he will knock him out?
Tokoro knocked out Hiroya. Like that wasn't like TKO like punch and he kind of like went down. That was he had the his eyes went to the back of his head, knockout.
But from the other hand, Tokoro is known from his phenomenal ground skills, but during even his hero's run against Alexandre França Nogueira, he also knocked him out by a spinning back fist. So it was so the fact that Tokoro is knocking out people in 2024 wasn't that shocking, in my opinion.
Really? Michael Schiavello, like I thought he was gonna have a heart attack. I mean, apart from the fact that Tokoro did win, but also like the way it happened, and also that Nogueira,
of course, yeah.
Was how long ago was that? That had to be 2012, 2013.
No, it was in 2007 or 6.
2007, man. My God. Here's the thing about I listen. Hiroya could lose his next 10 fights and he'll still be booked. I get it. I understand why. It's a different booking perspective than UFC, which is what I think I still have to sometimes understand. I have to kind of train my brain to think. I still think they should do the Arai rematch though. Arai versus.
Yeah. That's a good thing to just make in the future. I have to check.
Mm-hmm. Just while you check that, sorry, go ahead.
It was 2005, the fight against Nogueira.
So almost 20 years. Almost 20 years was his last knockout, and that was a spinning back fist, which most people I don't think do spinning back fist with the intention of actually landing, since it happens so rarely and since it opens up your back. But yeah, I'm gonna say this: Monkey Shibata, KO seconds. Hiroya.
Submission second round.
Oh my God. Okay. And then Hiroya will be booked for New Year's somehow again. Hopefully he gets
to bring the heat and bring the people to the venue.
Now let's actually talk about some actual high level flyweight. Ito versus Jung-hyun Lee. If I can find my fucking banner here, because I thought I typed it up. Oh, there we are. So did you see the preparation video for Ito?
Unfortunately not.
He has a gambling problem. He is addicted to gambling. This guy is going to be destitute he is 27. If he is not living in a cardboard box by the age of 29, I will be surprised, because he has a gambling addiction. And he even says that he funds his training and his travels by gambling. So now that actual gambling is legal in Japan now with actual money, because before it wasn't. They used pachinko balls.
Yeah.
This guy's gonna be fucking poor as fuck. This guy's gonna be like eating out of a cardboard box soon. Besides that, it was a really good documentary preparations and subtitles. I highly recommend it. But the Majima one is not subtitled yet, I don't think. Last I checked. Ito, one of the top flyweights in RIZIN, one of the top flyweights in all of Japan, taking on Hyun Lee, who is a shit-talking little guy. I love him. He brings he brings like fuck you energy, and I love that. What do you think about this fight?
I think it's a
By
very
the way, that record's
reasonable.
bullshit. By the way, of Lee's, he did not.
Of
That record is total bullshit. But I don't understand why Ryzen wrote it that way. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh yeah, of course. I heard the things about his record because on topology you have modified rules MMA with that
Arc,
ARC
Arc is good.
Africa TV Road Championship. So it was the partnership between the broadcaster and the Road FC events, and I don't know why it was. Okay. I think that I know why it was a three times 3 minute round. So that's why Topology decided just not to qualify it as a pro fight. I have a mixed feelings about this, but Sherdog
This
has
fight, or what Tapology did.
the fights,
Oh, okay.
because
Oh,
yeah, but Sherdog doesn't have it as well. So I don't know why, uh, but it's probably because of the distance, 3 minute rounds. But about this fight, okay. Ito is a striker, mainly a striker. He's on in a very good. Uh, he won 3 fights in a row, but 2 out of these 3 fights sucked, totally sucked. The fight against Topnoi was boring.
mm,
The
mhm.
fight against Masatoshi Ueda in Saga at the Landmark 8
Mm.
was the worst fight of the night, of the very good
I
night, I
can't
would say.
even remember anything from that fight. If you put a gun in my head and asked me name one thing from that fight, I couldn't tell you anything.
You know, Ito was trying to just make a point fighting, a lot of single punches, a lot of work near the fence, a lot of feints by Ito, but I think that he wanted to just win this fight with very low sacrifice. I had this kind of impression, but if you will uh, make a flashback to his fight against Topnoi, it was very similar. The difference was that Topnoi was trying to just strike with him, unlike Ueda.
Mm.
But that 2 last wins of Ito were, I would say, kind of deserved, but not
Hiroya
very
fight was good though.
entertaining
The
performances.
Hiroya fight was great though. Remember that
Oh yeah,
it
yeah,
washed away the terrible Bellator portion that preceded it.
yeah. I remember that. Yeah, it was right after the break, after the Bellator portion. Yeah,
Mm.
remember that. But about the Lee, as you said before, this guy likes to talk a lot. About his last fight, it was kind of mismatch in my opinion to throw him against Shinryu, but he also showed some defensive grappling skills in this fight because Shinryu is a really good wrestler grappler. But about this matchup, it can be very similar fight like his clash against Seigo Yamamoto in Road. I would like to remind that Lee knocked out Seigo Yamamoto by two hooks, left and then right. For sure, Lee won't let Ito to push him to the side of the fence. He will try. I think that he will try to fight against Ito for the middle of the battleground,
Mhm.
but also he will be much smaller, much shorter. So I think that he will try to find an occasion to just go to the distance and try to throw some hard punches and low kicks.
I think I gotta correct myself. I said that Ito was undefeated in Ryzen. He's not. I forgot he lost to Ersan. I should have remembered that because I was there for that fight. Uh, funny how MMA works. He loses to Ersan, and then Monkey Shibata taps out Ersan. Just funny. Anyway,
Yeah.
yeah, I know that Ito's last fights have not been, exciting, and minus the Hiroya fight. I still think he's a top flyweight though. I'm hoping that this fight though is kind of the one that he's forced to actually have to engage, because I don't think Lee's going to make an easy fight. I don't, he showed defensive grappling against Shinryu. I don't think we have to worry about grappling too much in this fight. I don't think
so.
It will be entirely on the feet. I'm still picking Ito to win, though. I think it might go all 3 rounds. I think it'll be entirely a striking fight. But listen, I think Lee's the type of energy that we need a little bit in Ryzen. We can't have that Manel cape thing.
Yeah. That's a good analogy, in my opinion. I would pick Lee, but by a decision too.
We got a question from Chris Cushman. How many soccer kicks on this card, over under? Well, don't forget the first 4 fights, soccer kicks are not allowed because there are deep rules and one's a kickboxing. So, I don't know. Any thoughts?
I would say that that landmark cards, which contains more, I would say, new, unexperienced fighters, are a bit less technical, a bit more brutal. So I would say we have 12 fights of the main part. So I would say it will be more than 4.
So I'm going to say 1, and it'll probably be during Sudario and Kato. That is what I'm feeling. But there's been a lot less. I've gone to why I believe there's been less. I'm not going to get into that, but I think I'm going to put it at 1 just for now for Kato and Sudario, which we'll get into shortly. But before that, go ahead.
Do we count stomps and the grounded knees, or just soccer kicks?
I'm going to only count soccer kicks because that's what Cushman asked if he wants. I think there's more likely to be knees. Stomps, I don't think so. I don't see stomps happening. That's what. If you stomp, listen, Shibata is gonna submit you. That's what's gonna happen. So yeah, stomps may not be the best one, the best mode of offense here. Continuing on, Korea again represented. Kyung-pyo Kim back taking on Daigo Kuramoto, making his Ryzen debut. Another JTT guy, I believe he is. Let me double check on that. I think he's the JTT.
Yes, he is.
That's what I thought. Okay. Yes. He just won the deep title. I think it was, right. Didn't he just win the deep title?
Oh, I'm not sure about it.
I thought that he did. But yeah, I know that Kim is coming back. This is his return fight from the Spike loss. Any thoughts?
I would say about the last.
No, he didn't win the title. I'm thinking of the other JTT guy.
Okay. About that. About that loss against Spike, I think that Kim was very unlucky because it was in the second round, third round. I think he was leading the whole fight from what I remember, and in the third round he got Spike took him down, and then Kim tried to stand up. And then Spike made a backpack, and then he submitted him. But it was just a single mistake that Kim did in a whole fight. He doesn't have a lot of holes in his game, and Kuramoto is, I would say, as you said, he is a JTT fighter, and that's why he got promoted to the RIZIN. But also he looks good in his fights. He won 4 times by KO in the first round in his last 6 fights. I think that he has a better takedown defense than Sho Usami that fought against Kim and got and Kim took him down very easily and then submitted. And he is kind of tall, he is aggressive, and mainly a striker. So this is the question: what will be the game plan against Daigo Kuramoto by Kim? If he will try to make an exchanges like in Tural Ragimov, who got knocked down and then TKO'd by Kim, or he will try to duplicate the game plan against Shopatri from the fight against Shopatri Kusami. That's the key question, because I have an impression that Daigo won't try to go to the ground.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and also I didn't know Daigo was 30. I thought he was a little bit younger, as well.
Oh yeah, really? That's
And by the
interesting.
way, it was not it was a Brave guy who won the title, not the JTT guy, deep title. What I was thinking with Kim, so he's obviously, all rounder. I think he's fought better competition than he has Kuramoto at this point. I think that Kim is going to be able to to really. I know that Kuramoto's got those 3 KOs in the first round, but I feel like Kim has just got a lot more positive offense to deal with. And I don't think either one's going to finish each other. I think probably going to go all 3 rounds, but I think Kim's going to be able to outpoint, possibly even out grapple Kuramoto for this fight.
That's very possible. First and foremost, Kyung-pyo Kim is the best opponent, the best opposition of Daigo Kuramoto in his whole career. Of course, Kitaoka is a well-decorated fighter, a former Sengoku fighter, but it was many years ago. Right now, Kitaoka, it is what it is. Yes.
Yes. Yeah, a win over Kitaoka is not the same it was 10 years ago.
Of course. So that's why I'm picking Kim, but by what? I think that he can submit Kuramoto, but not at the beginning, but maybe in the third round.
Mm-hmm. I still think it'll go all 3 rounds, but I don't think that I don't think it's I think he's gonna Kim will ride in the striking and the occasional grappling to get all them points. I don't see him finishing him Kim. I don't see him finishing Kuramoto.
But I think that this will be a very fun fight. It has a lot of potential to be.
Well,
I
I
guess.
think the next fight we're gonna talk about, I think that might be fight of the nights, potentially. Suzuki returning, taking on Akimoto, first time at featherweights. And yes, that is a correct age, 18. Man, I don't know. What do you think? Akimoto, first fight at featherweights against Suzuki, the former shoot boxer, the guy who was knocked out all 4 wins by knockouts. What do you? I don't know. This is a tough fight, man. It is a tough fight. I think Rise is hoping like, oh, Yama knocked him out, and then maybe Akimoto can. But listen, Suzuki, Suzuki still. It's hard, man.
Yeah, that's a good point that you said about. This will be his featherweight debut. So that's why I'm a bit surprised. Speaking about Hiroaki, he is a former one title challenger in Muay Thai. Of course, he has a very good striking skills that he showed in some of his MMA fights.
I also
But
think they kind of booked this because of the age difference, the 20-year age difference.
yeah.
I think they were kind of like, oh, let's do this for shits and giggles.
Hiroaki is this kind of fighter when he's fighting against strikers. He usually is trying to go to the ground. With Yaman, it was the same, but Yaman did not let Suzuki to go to the ground, and then he finished him when Suzuki got engaged in the exchange near the ropes. In this case, I can see Hiroaki is trying to go to the ground with Akimoto as well, but it's nothing new for Akimoto, because in his other fights, in his fights from the past, he also got he also went to the ground with all in a different way. His opponents went with him to the ground, took him down, but he is going back to the stand-up position very quickly. He has a very good left cross, which can knock down or even knock out his opponents, and he is very tall. But as you said before, this will be the featherweight fight. He's a featherweight
If this,
champion.
yeah, if his fight was against someone like Takahiro Ashida or Dominator Yamasu, I'd be like, oh, okay, fine. I can kind of see Akimoto winning. No, but like they're getting putting up against a guy who's a pure striker. I know he's at Bonsai. I know that grappling isn't really his thing, despite also being at Bonsai as well. So yeah, man, I mean, I kind of would want to be like, oh, I can see Akimoto win this, but man, it's a tough fight. I have to pick Suzuki by, I'm gonna say knockout. I'm gonna say knockout in the first.
That's a good question about this, but I would say TKO, but on the ground by Hiroaki Suzuki, because it's also his one of the favorite methods to finish the fights.
Yeah, and also here's the thing: I know Akimoto that they're getting behind Akimoto. If you lose his featherweight, listen, no big deal. Go back to
Yeah, nothing to lose. Totally.
yeah. Um. So moving on, the one fight I think that there might be a sucker kick is the other true heavy Q fight of the night. Sudario taking on, yes, that is a former middleweight at 5'12", Hisaki Kato. So I think he's been 6 years since he's been in RIZIN, and I think it's 8. Oh my god, 8! My god. I don't know when his last MMA fight was, but I know he just fought in the whatchamacallit, the K1.
The last fight, the last fight in RIZIN.
No, his last fight in MMA was that 8 years.
Chidin Jokwani in 2017.
Oh wow, I remember that fight from Bellator. Jeez.
Yeah, the Bellator. Yeah, definitely.
Okay, I mean, I have no idea what to say about this fight because, despite the fact that they're both 8-3, they're both half-foos. Kato half French, half Japanese. Sudario half Filipino, half Japanese. Man, like, I don't think this fight's going to go well for Kato. I have to say, I don't. This is going to
be there's always a big question mark with this kind of comebacks. Last fight of Kato in MMA took place in 2017, as I said before. Then he got a long contract with K1, but fighting in kickboxing, K1 rules, it's totally different pair of shoes than fighting in actual MMA. We don't know about his current his current shape. I watched.
It looks good. He's been doing some jiu-jitsu tournaments. I follow him on Instagram.
Yeah. I watched your interview with Kato, and I remember that he's doing a lot of grappling right now. But from the other hand,
I don't think it'll help, though. Let's be honest. I don't think it'll help, but that's.
I don't think so. Tsuyoshi is that kind of fighter that is very aggressive, has a lot of KO power. Because if you will remind his last fight against Ueda, he was doing well against Ueda. But then he went a bit lower, and he met the middle kick or knee. I don't remember the
he brought up the knee. Remember, he brought up the knee, and it was like a weird knee kick combo.
It was. I think that Ueda wanted to make. To throw a middle kick, and it turned out to be a knee that knocked out Sudario. From the fun facts, he made a reunion with his brother.
Yes. Also, is this the first fight that Sudario is doing without ensign since the two broke up? Go to Jim Ozeki's podcast to hear about all that. So I think
Oh
this might
yeah,
be the
yeah.
first one. I think might be the first one since the breakup. Since Sudario said on Mikaru's show, "I'm no longer with Ensign. I disavow him." So who knows? We got JTT Sudario now, so it could be good or it could be bad. Who knows? By the way, I like how they put grappler when he's never won a match by submission at all. I just realized that right now.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah. It's kind of interesting how it will affect
but then
his
also, here's
game.
the other thing. Remember the last guy who was undersized that faced Dario, the Korean guy.
Uh,
That-
who?
The Korean guy. Remember the Korean?
Oh
What
yeah, yeah, yeah.
yes,
It was yeah, 1 year ago in Nagoya as
yes.
well.
So maybe Sudario just has a problem with people that are undersized, not counting Minowa Man Z. So I don't know. If this could I would like to say that Kato has a puncher's chance, but I just think that Sudario's punch is going to hit first and be a lot harder. I think.
Mm, I think this will be a big issue for Hisaki Kato, who is of course who faced a lot of tough opposition. Kickboxers also because he fought with Joe Schilling, he fought with Melvin Manu in MMA scraps, but I would say I don't believe that Sudario will lose this. I think it will end up by KO in favor
Mm-hmm.
of former Anson's fire.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And I highly suggest people listen to Jim's series that he's doing on Ensign and his wife Sarah since they're released from Japanese prison. It is great stuff to listen to. Um, well, that's hold on. I'm trying to. Wait, hold on. No, what? I didn't mean to click that. Okay, I meant to click this. Middle man Z pot me. Funny. Maybe he'll come back one day. Probably not. Anyway, Shoji versus Catfish. What a I don't know whether to be like, oh, this fight's so bizarre, but also like kind of works, but also doesn't work. And I'm also
I
kind of
have
interested.
uh-huh.
I have so many emotions with this fight.
I have a flashbacks from Vietnam from
Vietnam.
Shoji's fight against Chihiro Suzuki, and uh, this is I'm thinking if Shoji is thinking that he can do exactly the same thing in this fight.
That would be hilarious if he did, but man, I was so impressed with what Ashizawa did in his second MMA fight with Cozy. I don't know. I also think that Shoji's pretty shot. I think Shoji's
Uh,
pretty shot at this point in his career, man.
I saw a lot of fights of Ashizawa, and from what I could see, he's taking a lot of damage as well.
Yes. Also, this is
So
his first fight since returning from a broken arm. I don't even know
yeah.
when that happened, but apparently he had a broken arm, and this is his first fight since then.
So this is the chance for Shoji to capitalize on this, because Shoji is, kill or to be killed, and I don't remember him going to the ground in such cases. So I think it won't go to this. It won't go to the decision. If it will go, it will be unbelievable.
Yeah,
Simply.
listen. I don't think this fight's going to go to the ground at all. If it does, I'm
Yeah.
going to be so surprised. If you even saw both the records, or well, more surprisingly, Shoji's has 0 submissions for a guy who's had almost probably 10 to 15 years of in pro fight experience. But like, I don't know, Ashizawa, he won me over with how he beat Cozy both times, especially in the MMA fight. So no, I think Ashizawa's gonna knock him out, and he's not a guy who really knocks out people as well. But I think he's gonna knock out Shoji. I really do.
I think so. Yeah. Of course, Ashizawa is brand new in MMA, but Shoji is strictly a striker, MMA striker. I would say brawler. Uh, so on paper, Ryusei should finish him, but I won't be that shocked. I will be shocked, but not that shocked if Shoji will hunt him down by some punch, like with Chihiro.
Also, if you want to know how old of a fire Shoji is, he fought Aldo back in, I think, Pancras, I think it was.
Yeah, a many time ago.
Many moons ago.
Many moons ago, yeah.
Now, Ayaka finally making a return from her broken arm, taking on Yuri Shim. So man, we gotta say, do you agree Adam Waite sucks now? Adam Waite's terrible now.
I don't think it's that terrible because
I'm not saying these two are terrible, but I'm just the overall division is now like,
I would
yeah.
say it's it's on the one place and it doesn't go anymore in any direction. It's like this. It's very stagnant. Oh, this is the word. Not much happening right now, but this matchup is very intriguing.
I think it's a good matchup.
Hamasaki,
Trust me, it is a good matchup. I really do think, yeah.
Hamasaki will be back after more than 2 years after the injury. Her last fight was against Siu Park, from what I remember, and the two main factors of her loss was the punches and kicks, the stand-up skills of Siu Park, and very good takedown defense of Korean. Yuri Shim is even taller. I don't think that in this fight Hamasaki won't try to take her down. But speaking about Shim, it was super close fight against Reina. Even Shim tried to take Reina down. From what I remember, she was successful in some cases, but also Shim took some elbows on the ground from Reina. As I said before, she is really tall. She has very good boxing, great kicks, really good tie clinch that she couldn't show in the fight against Reina because Reina is superior in stand up. But in this case, she can use that deadly weapon that she used to use in her fights in Korea. And what I can say, I would say that Shim is a favorite. Of course, it's not like a big dog and big favorite. It's kind of equal chances, but I would make Korean a little favorite because she has a fighting rhythm. Her last fight could be different, totally different. Could go either way in terms of the decision, and I was really surprised by her shape. I mean about Shim, and Hamasaki is in the I would say the last lap of her career right now.
So I've been a Hamasaki fan forever. I've always picked her, no matter, even against Izawa both times. I even picked her to go to the finals for that the Atomweight tournament that they had a few years ago, and I'm glad she's back. I'm just gonna pick her because I still think she has something. If she looks terrible in this fight, though, then it's like, okay, I'm probably never gonna pick her ever again. But I'm assuming that she still has her excellent grappling and her subpar-ish striking. That's going to be obviously Shim's expertise is the striking, but I think Hamasaki hopefully will not try to show off her striking like she has in previous fights and realize, okay, I'm a grappler. I'm at AACC for a specific reason because I know judo and grappling, so I'm going to rely on that. And if she does, she can win, and I'll be happy. But if she doesn't, she's going to exactly what happened with the other Korean, Siwoo Park. And then, yeah, maybe her Achilles heels is just Koreans. Maybe she she just loses the Koreans like like Ham and Park and
Oh yeah, yeah.
maybe that's her
That's the
Achilles heel.
chronology. Yeah, but
So you think?
about
Yeah, go ahead.
about this fight, it's a very simple thing. As we said before, if this fight will be a striking fight, that's clearly good sign for Yuri Shim. But if it will go to the ground, Hamasaki will be a favorite.
Who do you pick in?
Shim
Gun to your head.
by a
Shim?
decision. Yeah.
Oh, I'm gonna still pick Hamasaki. I'm hoping that she still has a little extra fight life in her. I don't think she'll be able to finish her, but I think I'm hoping that she could out grapple her to a decision. That's what I'm really hoping for.
But
Hamasaki.
if Hamasaki will be able to take
If she can, yeah.
take a win, that's great because I'm also a fan of Ayaka.
Now we got the main event. Finally, after all those fucking fights, man. Karamov Majima, which was supposed to happen this year, but Karamov got arrested for hooliganism. And then Majima fought Imanari instead and got tapped out by Imanari, which was a great win for Imanari. But now finally we're getting this long, I won't say long awaited rematch, but we're getting this match. What do you think, man? I don't know. I almost want to. People shouldn't discount Majima. His grappling is really fucking good. And I don't obviously, yeah, you lose the people like Kleber and whatever, but I don't think that Karamov's grappling may be on the level of Majima's.
The Majima's history is very, in RIZIN at least, is very unfortunate because every of his RIZIN loss looks like this. He is starting very good. He's controlling the fight. He's winning the fight, and then he is making a mistake, and then he is finished. So that's why that's I think that people are underestimating Majima because they are going to the topology or Sherdog. They could see all those red squares, and they can say, "Yo, this guy is mid," but he's very dangerous grappler, as you said before. Both fighters are going in practice to the ground. As we said before, Majima is more a grappler focus. More, I would like to say that he is a grappler, but more grappling focused. On a submissions, on a control. But Karamov usually starts from the stand-up. He is trying to make some moves in a stand-up position. He is trying to present some boxing, and then he's going to the ground. He's using his wrestling skills to the control, of course, but then he's trying to find a way to just finish his opponent. So anyway, this fight will go to the ground. It will go earlier than later, but the main factor is who will be controlling the action. Because I would say Karamov is more like a physical fighter in this case. He is more a ground and pound focused fighter, but he also has a lot of submission wins. 9 wins by submissions. He has 19 wins in the career, and this is the one factor that can be decisive in this fight, but can be only a number as well. Karamov never been submitted.
So,
but from the other hand, he never fought with such a good grappler like Majima.
So I'm not going to. I think Majima's grappling is better than Karamov's, but man, I just think that Karamov, his striking is. I think you made a good point. He's winning at first, and then, shit happens. So dare I say that's going to probably happen again in this one? He gets a takedown in the first round, but can't submit him, and then second round, maybe it gets knocked out or something along. I think That's what I'm doing. I think it's going to happen, something along those lines. I think Karamov's going to win, but it won't be an easy win. I don't think. I'm interested to see how Karamov after his layover. I'll say after his brief break from MMA.
Yeah, this is very important point. He's back after over the 1 year of absence because his last fight was in against Chihiro in Azerbaijan in November last year. So yeah, this will be a year of absence. We've been talking about the Shingo's recent interviews, and it was the very first question: what was happening during this time when he's been absent, and he did not want to answer on this.
Yes, that's also a good interview as well. I recommend that, and also the LA Beck interview as well, which I forgot to mention before.
I think that if there will be a submission, then Majima has better grappling skills. If knockout, Vugar will finish him by TKO by punches. I don't think that it will be finished in a stand-up position. I don't think so.
You think Karamov wins then, or you think Majima? Sorry, you think Majima wins then?
He has the tools to win this, and I can surely imagine Majima taking the win in this fight. He would make an upset, of course. It would be an upset, but not that big.
Gotcha. So that's the entire card. Again, free on RIZIN.TV. Quickly, Daniel, just want to get, oops, sorry, wrong one. Just want to see 3 fights that you're looking forward to the most.
Give me a second.
I'll get the card as well. Oh, it's in Japanese, great. So, but
oh yes, I would say Ito against Lee. I would say Suzuki Akimoto. And Karamovvvs Majima, maybe it will be the fourth one, Shoji against Ashizawa instead of Ito against Lee.
You took it right out of my mouth. Shoji versus Catfish, Ito versus Lee, and Laramie versus Muramoto are the 3 fights I'm legit. I'm like really excited to see. I know there's a ton of fights on this card, but yeah, that's how. Yeah, and hopefully it'll be a quick card. Hopefully it'll be quick.
Yeah,
finish this first round, please.
I think that as I said before on the beginning, it has a lot of potential to have a lot of finishes. The format of Neo Landmark, because there are some fights, I think the majority of fights won't have VTRs, and there won't be, from what I heard, there won't be an official opening. So it's like a compact event in this case.
So, Daniel, this is where can people reach you on Twitter?
Yes, this is my Twitter account. I'm posting a lot of stuff. I think the majority of stuff in English, because I don't have the people in Polish to talk to talk with about the Japanese MMA. A lot of people, not a lot of people is following the MMA on a regular basis in Poland. So that's why I'm posting the stuff in English. Also my Instagram, Daniel _DEE. This is like a more personal space, my more personal stuff, but also a fight related as well. And this is my two major communication channels, I would say. But also I would like to recommend my YouTube channel, because I have my 2 vlogs from my RIZIN trips. One from the very first one from 2017 to Japan, and the second one from the last year to Azerbaijan, all with English subtitles.
We have one quick question from LMJVG. Is it hard to bring in more heavyweights than it was back then? Is it RIZIN doesn't have enough money? It's not a money issue, man. Well, because here's the thing, most of these fighters are the good ones are in UFC. I'll say good. You have other ones that are in
Or
KSW.
PFL, yeah.
Yeah, PFL, KSW. Actually, people still locked down in Bellator, probably as well.
Oh yeah, of course, yeah.
Octagon. The ones in Japan are terrible besides Sudario. So yeah, there's heavyweight now is probably the worst it's been since like what is it? Cabbage Correa versus the UFC heavyweight champion, like that era. It's really not. It's not that good. Plus, also the other thing is a lot of these. I get to like. I'll just say this quickly. A lot of fighters will turn down offers from other organizations because if they rather get something from like an LFA or CFFC, because then that's like an open door pathway to UFC at this point. It may change now that RIZIN, because we're seeing a bunch of fighters in RIZIN go to UFC now, but as of now, the best pathway to UFC is LFA or CFFC. And I can tell you, there are fighters who will turn down RIZIN or another organization just so that they can hopefully get into one of the American regionals that directly pipelines them to UFC. And may not be the fighters. It's their managers thinking like, oh, this is best for my fighter. And for heavyweights, that's a lot of organizations don't have good heavyweights as well. So yeah. And I think also Komede says if no Japanese regional draws in the higher divisions, there is some good talent. Again, there is some. Also Karate Combat as well. They just signed what's his name? The Cuban guy.
Oh, I don't remember, but I know the guy.
Yeah.
I know who are you talking about.
Yeah. So yeah. Before we go, just want to also give a shout out to Jay Krish of Focus Fights. He's doing his thing. I'm assuming with Jay Wolf. With the RIZIN Landmark 10 preview tomorrow. Please check that out. In addition, you can see you can follow Jay Krish Gary at Jay Krish Gary, Twitter X, as well as his whole thing with Focus Fights, Linktree, as well. Please join the RIZIN Discord where we have so much fun together. And also, how can I forget about Jay Wolf? Jay Wolf, his Twitter, the Y and the 1, JDolf1. And then the Twitter for RIZIN, for this podcast that you're listening to or watching, we are RIZIN Pod. What was that? LMJB Extreme Wild Suggestions bring in some fighters from King the Streets. From street beefs. That's what we need. We need street beefs. Heavyweights.
I will tell you this. Among the King of the Streets competitors, there are a lot of actual MMA fighters. Brian Hoy, for example, right now, KSW contracted fighter. During his Bellator run, he also been fighting in KOTS. So impossible is nothing.
So yeah, long story short, heavyweight's not good worldwide at all. Anyway, so except for KSW, which has PDF as their champion, but he's beaten everybody at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's de facto the best heavyweight, in my opinion, not John Jones, but let's not get into that shit. Anyway, thank you so much for joining us. Remember, RIZIN.tv is free this weekend on Nagoya. RIZIN Landmark 10 Nagoya is free on RIZIN.tv. Register at RIZIN.tv. You can watch it all for free, and it'll be archived and all that stuff. Make sure to check it out. And with that, thank you everybody who tuned in, asked questions and everything. Appreciate the support. We'll be talking soon. Take care.